Red Sox turning around. Hottest team in baseball, Keefe.
Oh, hot as a pistol.
Back in a playoff spot.
I think they just hit another home run.
They may have. Speaking of hot, you know who Rob Bradford is brought to you by.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Also a hot man. McFarland Energy, the heating, cooling, and bioheat delivery pros that Eastern Mass and all of Cape Cod depend on at McFarlandEnergy.com. Rob, I don't know if you can talk to your guys over at McFarland about cooling off the beef between Will Clark
Oh, my
and
goodness.
Will Fleming. We might need to.
First of all, we got to get McFarland on the left field wall. Like, what are we doing? If they really want,
Hogdale can shout it out, yeah.
But I was just saying that, I was sitting in the car at 10:30. I was just laughing. Oh, you guys did such a good job with that. The Will versus Will, and I feel like this is the summer of Will, right?
Oh, yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like, you know how like kids were named after Brady for all those years?
No doubt.
I think we're going to look back at this summer and say everybody was named after Will. Will Middlebrooks, Will Fleming, Will Clark. I just found out recently that my wife named our son.
Wills.
Yeah, this is speaking of naming people after people. You remember that guy Colby Donaldson from Colby from Survivor, early Survivor?
No.
Boston
You
Rob.
don't?
Will Fleming, you can go off, mother. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. I didn't watch Survivor, but
Colby who?
Go ahead.
So anyway, I found out that my son has been named after that guy because my wife may or may not have liked him a lot on Survivor.
No kidding. And you
Nice.
found
So
that out
she's like,
after the fact.
how
So
about
that's
that?
Well, here's the
sneaky.
thing.
That
He was in a movie. I'll get to the Red Sox in a second, but with the I was watching a movie, Red Eye. Remember that Red Eye movie? It was
What a thriller. That was like an 80-minute in and out Wes Craven thriller with Rachel
Wes
McAdams.
Craven.
Of course I remember that.
Yeah. So
Haven't seen it.
So
It's
Colby
good.
Donaldson is a security guy. He's a security guy. And I'm like, he looks familiar. And so I did the Wikipedia search, and it says at the end of his Wikipedia page is like Colby Donaldson's guy in Survivor. It was revealed that thousands of people named their kids after this guy, and I'm like,
Wow.
well, I guess we're one of them.
Killian
So-
Murphy, young Killian Murphy, prior to
Yep.
Oppenheimer, also in Red Eye.
Yep.
Very scary, haunting eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to come back to the Wills,
Sure.
I mean, I am all about the Will versus
fight.
Will.
But this is outrageous when you really think about it, because there's Will Clark who offered up this anecdote about Devers. We had sort of moved on from the David Ortiz piling on of Devers and like the smear campaign for Devers, which really had started when he was even on the team, to be honest. But then Will Clark offers this up, and you're like, oh, wow, more of the same. And then now to see him so defensive about it is just really comical.
Yeah, listen, when you guys submit your nomination for Marconi, to have the clips of Will Clark saying, I don't know where this came from, I would never, ever say that I would grab someone by the neck, and then playing, I would grab him by the back of the neck. I mean,
It was AI, though, according to Will Clark.
Yeah, it was AI.
and that's,
Yeah,
that's another thing.
It was all a simulation.
Who had that on their baseball bingo card
Crazy.
a couple years ago? That Will Clark would be defaulting to AI when it comes to like trying to diffuse a baseball controversy.
Hilarious.
It's all crazy. I mean, it's all wild. And like I said, I mean, like the Devers stuff, it is what it is. But if this is what comes out of it, the chaos, I'm all for it.
Sure.
We had Craig Breslow, or he was on the Front Office Report with the Greg Hill Show today. He mentioned impact pitching as something the Red Sox could target. He didn't fully shy away from acknowledging they could trade from a glut of outfielders. So what do you think the Red Sox are looking at doing between now and the trade deadline?
I wouldn't be surprised if they traded an outfielder. I know that one team has told me that they had introduced Jarren Duran into a conversation. I don't think that should come as any surprise. And not to say that, hey, we're going to absolutely trade Jarren Duran, but at some point, whether it's this year or whether it's after this year, they're going to have to figure this out. They have too many guys especially hitting from the same side of the plate. It is going to be a challenging thing. I think they'll probably ride this out a little bit because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if someone gets hurt and then it's going to turn the other way. But if you get to the trade deadline and you're still in this situation, I would not be surprised at all for them to say, hey, we're going to trade a guy who is a very, very useful guy for something else. And I don't think that should be perceived as selling. I think, guys, I mean, at this point, the buying-selling thing, we already talked about how motivated they are to be perceived as buyers. And now that you're 4 games over 500, you are where you are in the standings. You've sort of righted the ship in terms of perception of what you are as a team. I mean, you have to be. You have to do whatever you can to win this year. And that's why that Bregman report made no sense. The whole they would be open to trading Bregman. No, they aren't. No way. No way.
Ralph said it.
Yeah, I didn't buy that one either. If they were to trade Jarren Duran, what do you think the clubhouse reaction would be?
I mean, I think that a lot of guys in there love Jarren Duran. They respect Jarren Duran. They think he's part of the solution. But it is what it is. It's I think that we had Adam Ottavino on. He's talking about the Devers thing the other day, and he said, as baseball players, yeah, you might get rattled a little bit, and then you sort of move on. But I'm not going to compare this to Devers. I don't think it's apples to apples. I think Duran is more of the fabric of this team than certainly Devers was. So, yeah, it would definitely be a risk. There's no question about it. But at the same time, you just have to get the best talent in the field, however way you got it. I think it would be a risk also if you trade away a Jarren Duran, because I think that people are underselling how important he can be and how much part of the solution he is and how impactful and how unique he is as a player. We kind of forget that, and we've kind of been reminded the last week or so.
Oh,
so
that play last night was nuts. Just a liner up the middle, and next thing you know, he's on third base.
We've been like downplaying Duran because he hasn't had the year he had last year. But if you look at what he's done over the last couple of weeks, like he's become that dynamic player. And guys, to find that sort of player, a leadoff hitter or a perceived leadoff hitter who does what he does, like that's hard to find. And that's why San Diego has obsessed over him. You go back to before last year. Like I know that San Diego had a scout in for a long time, last homestand. I mean, that's no secret that San Diego really, really likes Jarren Duran. Whether that means they're going to trade for him, I don't know. But there's a reason why teams around the league say, hey, you know what? He's a very, very unique player.
You tweeted something yesterday about Joe Ryan. John Morosi had a report that the Red Sox were monitoring Joe Ryan. If the Twins fall out of it, they're going to need a haul, et cetera, et cetera. You said he was a target when the Twins were asking around about Casas before the year. So I'm curious, your understanding of that. Were the Red Sox the ones saying no, Casas for Joe Ryan as the particulars, or was it the other way around? Was Casas not enough?
No. I think Minnesota, they needed a first baseman. They obviously Tristan Casas, you go back to Seattle, there was some talk there. So when it came to Minnesota saying, hey, what would it take to get Tristan Casas, I think Joe Ryan's name was brought up because the Red Sox, as I point out, the Red Sox really, really like Joe Ryan. And Minnesota said, thanks, but no thanks, because Joe Ryan is really, really good. He's under control for another 2 years after this year. And my point in that tweet was, yeah, there's a lot of buzz about Joe Ryan. And yes, that's an evidence that the Red Sox really like Joe Ryan. I don't think anybody should think that that's a secret, but I think that it takes two to tango. And I think that right now to get Joe Ryan, I mean, you're talking about like a crochet type deal. And for the Red Sox, is that something they're willing to do? It's going to cost, what I'm saying is it's going to cost more than people think to get Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan isn't just like, oh, we're going to go get him. No. He got control. He's a good pitcher. He just made the All-Star team. But once again, the Red Sox have liked him for a long time.
Alex Bregman could be activated any day now, and when he does, what will happen to Marcelo Meyer?
I would love to see Marcelo stick. I like to watch him play. There was such a subtle play in last night's game where, I don't know if you guys saw it, he charged the ball down the line, and he's so nonchalant and so confident. It was almost like, does he understand this is a fair ball? And he just gets it. And he sort of flips to first, one hops Romy Gonzalez, and it's an out. He's just such a confident player. And, I know that he hasn't got a lot of runs against lefties. I would love to see him stick. All of that said, I would not be surprised to see them send him down. Just because they want to see him play. They have this platoon going. So I don't know definitively if that's going to happen. For me, I want to see Marcelo Meyer play second. I want to see Alex Bregman play third. I want to roll it out that way. I don't know if that's going to happen, though.
Okay. That is discouraging.
I want that as well.
Me too. He is Rob Bradford, WEEI. You can check him out there. You can follow him on Twitter @Bradfo. And, of course, listen to the Baseball Isn't Boring podcast on the Odyssey app. Bradfo, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Keep up the good work. You're pitching a perfect game today.
You don't say it out loud, Bradfo.
I'm not superstitious. Come on.
Right,
I'm a little stitious.
Yeah, I'm a little stitious.
I'll step on the white line.
Thank you, Bradfo.
See ya.
Always
Bye.
a pleasure.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, you don't say that out loud.
Never.
I'm at least a little stitious.
So did you ever do play-by-play for baseball?
Yes, very
Like Ottavino games, probably,
ironically,
right?
Ottavino.
Sick brag, bro.
Thank you. Yes, Theo actually scouted him at a Northeastern game, and I did the play-by-play on it.
My
Yes.
high school teammate and dear friend Tristan Bessie on those teams as well. But if there was a no-hitter going, and I'm sure there probably was with Ottavino, like in the fourth inning, would you just straight up say no-hitter, or would you talk around it?
Probably by accident, yes.
Yeah.
I probably was
and
like,
a no-hitter for Adam Ottavino through 3.
And then the next pitch is a single.
Smoke the center.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm
That's
sure
up.
I didn't really even think about it that much. I'm just like, he's got no hitter going, yeah.
Because I think it's different. I feel like if you're doing it on the radio, you kind of have to explain it. You have to say it. Where if you're doing TV, they put the graphic up and you can kind of work around it if you want to, be the superstitious guy.
Yeah.
Because then at least everybody at home knows what's going on.
No,
But
it's
on
true.
the radio, you have no idea if you're listening to a no-hitter unless they say it.
I could find, no, they wouldn't be tapes. Well, mini discs
Tapes,
of
yeah.
WRBB.
Oh,
If I can find one of those,
Turn those on.
shudder to listen to it. That's how most people feel about this show. We're brought to you on Jones and Keefe by Jackson Lumber and Millwork. You can visit Jackson Lumber and Millwork for all your residential remodeling or commercial building materials and supplies at Jackson Lumber and Millwork, providing solutions and delivering results since 1946.
The reviews on this show?
We are dealing with amateurs.